So I'm so excited to finally be giving you my best of 2017 list. I wanted to wait until I'd seen Phantom Thread and The Post, which were both good. The Post especially, I'm more mixed on Phantom Thread, but it didn't quite make my top 13 list. Neither did. And so finally telling you my best of 2017 list. So I hope you enjoy this and let me know what you think and what your top 13 would be. So I already gave you my top 13 worst of the year earlier in the month. So here we go. 13, I have The Greatest Showman. I know this movie has gotten like very mixed response. Some people hate it, think it's the worst thing ever, and other people just love it. I really enjoyed it, and I liked it. I've seen it now twice. But I really do like the soundtrack. I like the songs. I think it's just a fun, old-fashioned musical. I wish we got more of these. This would be great. And I'm so happy that it's done so well and that it's just been this amazing little trooper at the box office. Just keep plugging away and doing better and better because many people do enjoy it like I enjoyed it. And I do not care at all about the historical inaccuracies. I don't watch a musical for history. That's ridiculous to me. Like, The Sound of Music isn't historically accurate to what happened to the Von Trapps, but I don't care. I've read Marie Von Trapp's book. It's super boring, and so I don't want that as a movie. I don't go to a musical. They're dancing up and down the streets. That's not historically accurate. It's ridiculous. And I liked this was clean cut. This was family friendly. I liked the songs. I thought it was energetic and fun. And yeah, it has problems, but I had a good time watching it. I really enjoyed it. And it's one I just itching to see again. So it's number 13 of my list. 12, I have Dunkirk. This was the most immersive experience that I had at the movies all year. I just thought it felt like a reenactment of a war. And I didn't need a narrative. I just needed this experience. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really immersive. And and a really cool experience at the theater. You know, back in Maryland, they have these reenactments where you just reenact battles, and that's the closest I've seen something like that on the theater on the big screen, and it was just really cool. I thought. 11, I have Briggs Be There. I love Briggs Be There. I think it has such a sweet heart to it about this man who he gets liberated basically from this life that he's been like held in this bunker kind of by these people, but he doesn't know like that he's been abducted, like, and that he's living this weird life. But anyway, he ends up having to like adjust to regular world and adjust to this new family. It's his real family. But anyway, and it's all about how he recreates this TV show that he had been kind of obsessed with, and it's all about how the power of filmmaking and art can like help us to bond and to give us something to live for. And it's just so sweet, and I just loved it. Plus, it's all filmed here in Utah, which was really fun. Number 10, I have Bahubali 2, The Conclusion. I had this at like 13, 14 before, and this movie opened a whole new world of cinema for me. I hadn't really explored Bollywood or Tollywood before. This thing is long. This thing is ridiculous. The violence is just so over the top. The romance is so over the top. Everything is just completely silly. I loved the music. I loved the music's the song and dance is a little better in the first one, but the story's a little bit more, makes a little more sense. But it was just fun spectacle entertainment that you haven't gotten out of Hollywood for a long time. It was great. So number 10, Bahubali 2 for me. Number 9, I have Get Out. This movie with layers that I just kept thinking about and thinking about and thinking about, but it was also fun. It was exciting. It was tense. The only thing that didn't really work for me was the humor, but I was willing to put that aside because I just enjoyed it so much, and it was a thoughtful, well-made thriller, in my opinion. Number 8, I have Ingrid Goes West. I really thought this movie was interesting. It really hit home because it's all about sort of modern loneliness and how we reach out through social media to try to fill that void, and how it sometimes doesn't. And you have these characters that are sort of living these half lives, and it's all about how honest we are with our online relationships, and I just thought it was great. I loved All the performances, Audrey Plaza is so good. It's so sad, such a sad, sad performance. And it's not just about social media, but it's about, like I said, modern loneliness and mental health, and how we are just so poor at providing help with people with mental health crisis. So it's definitely one I check out. It was really good. Number 7 is The Girl Without Hands. This is the one-man made animated film that is just beautiful. It's all done sort of this very like brushstroke, very sketchy style. I love the way it used music. It was so good. And it was just this cool new fairy tale that I was not familiar with. And I thought it was emotional. It was tense. It was romantic. It was great. Simon Laudenbach, he did a great job. Amazing. I can't believe he just made this in his house. It's so cool. So number 6 is The Big Sick. I thought this movie was so funny. The script is the best of the year, in my opinion. You can tell it's close to their hearts because it's their story. And I just thought it made me laugh. I thought that Ray Romano and Holly Hunter were terrific in their roles, their supporting roles. And it was just heartwarming and romantic and funny and sweet. And 5, I Have a Silent Voice. I've talked about this a lot on this program, but this movie is an anime film. It is too long. That is a flaw with the movie, but it is emotional. It tells the story of this bully and how he learns to seek forgiveness, and this deaf girl who he is the victim, and their sort of weird bond that they develop. I thought it was so moving. I thought it was so beautiful. The animation is gorgeous. The music is the best of the year, in my opinion. And it's just a movie that I could see over and over and over again, despite it being so emotional, because it just moved me so much. Number 4, I have Personal Shopper. This is a movie with a lot of layers that really makes you think, and it's something that you can keep seeing and keep growing from it, and keep. It's just such a weird mixture of themes and ideas, and I just loved it. I love Kristen Stewart in it, but she was just so great. There's this emotion that her having lost her twin and trying to figure out this connection that she feels. Then there's this sort of thriller element to the movie that's so good, and they make this text message thing really work, and I had no idea what was really going to happen. It was surprising. It was tense. It was emotional. It was so well made. The sound design alone is just perfect. There's a reason why this was released immediately to Criterion, because it's just that good a movie. 3, I have Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman hit me really emotionally. I thought that there was a spiritual component to the movie that really worked for me. The idea that you have this godlike character who is confronted with the reality of war and the reality of the horrible things that we will do to each other, and how she deals with that. I thought it was so moving. I thought she was the best character. I loved her. I loved her and Steve so much. I loved, like, most of the movie. The no man's land scene was so great, and I loved the music. And to me, the ending was not a deal breaker at all. It was definitely, the CGI wasn't good and the villains were not great, but I just didn't care. I was so connected to her and her journey that I just think it was just a great movie, and it's my favorite superhero movie I've ever seen. I just loved it. 2, I have Step. This I saw last year at Sundance, and it's a documentary about these girls who are on this step team in inner city Baltimore, and the school that just fights for them. And I just loved it. I thought it was so inspirational. It was so beautiful, and it was about where Wonder Woman is about, fake heroes. This is about real heroes, real people, and I just love it. I love it. I love it so much. And I even love the music. I just love everything about this movie. I think it is such a beautiful story of so many characters. I love like Blessing's mother was such an interesting character. I loved the girl who I loved the girl who wanted to go to Johns Hopkins. That was the most amazing moment. I just found it super inspirational. It's not just about dance. It's about people and their journeys. My favorite movie of 2017 is Coco. And I just thought this movie was so great on every level. I loved his journey. I loved the animation. I loved the music. Remember Me was so great. I loved Hector and his and his story. Oh, and when it gets to the, I didn't cry at first, but then it gets to this section where he's just pleading and wanting to save Hector, and it's so emotional and so beautiful. And Grandma Coco, so great. I loved the humor in it. I just loved this movie. I connected with it emotionally. I thought it was so great. One of my favorite Pixar's that I've ever seen. And I haven't done my long review on my blog yet because I haven't been able to go see it as many times as I want to really be able to talk about it in detail. I learned things about De los Muertos that I didn't know before. It was really interesting. It was just a great movie with great characters that I loved. Miguel and Hector especially are just the best. That's my top 13. My honorable mentions, I will say Man Who Invented Christmas, The Breadwinner, Thor Ragnarok, The Post, Call Me By Your Name, Window Horses, and The Disaster Artist. And those are my top 20. So there you go. That's my favorites 2017. Let me know what you thought of these movies and what your top 13 of the year are, or your top list of the year. Put it in the comment section. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye.